we have 4 members from the government house and 4 members from the opposition house. Mr. President, these are your guests and they are most welcome. So to define the topic, let me begin. The word mother tongue. Mother tongue means the language which a person has grown up speaking from early childhood. So why I believe that mother tongue should be the medium of instruction in schools, because according to the National Education Policy 2022, it recommends that the mother language or home language or local language should be the medium of instruction at least for grade 5 but till grade 8. So the educationists who are selected in they are not like our local like us. They are skilled educationists. They recommend so. And also why I believe that education, the medium of education should be in mother tongue, because according to the Indian Constitution, according to Article 350A, facility, it says, facilities for instruction in mother tongue at the primary stage, it shall be the endeavor of every state and every local authority within the state to provide adequate facilities for instruction in mother tongue. So this is, so clearly it has been proved that mother tongue should be the medium of instruction in schools. So why mother tongue should be the instruction in schools? Let me move forward to my first argument, why I believe. Because mother tongue is vital in framing and in framing the thinking, the emotions of people, which causes the comprehensive development of a child, helping the students to express themselves better in front of the teachers. This will make schools learning two-way communication between teacher and students. Students will be able to express themselves, to ask questions in their mother tongue if they are allowed to instruct with their teachers in mother tongue. This will help them to grasp more knowledge and achieve more knowledge and their questions from their teachers. Secondly, moving to my second argument, why I believe that the medium of instruction in school should be in mother language, because it will build a strong home-school partnership. Because if students is learning through mother tongue, and if they went to the house, so the parents will understand this facts, and they will help their child to solve their problems if it is in mother tongue. Thirdly, why I believe that mother tongue should be the medium of instruction, because it will also benefit the primary school teachers, because surveys shows us that in India, in number of primary schools, teachers are not able to convey their messages as much as they know to the students, because they don't know adequately in English. They are unable to convey their message. So that is why I believe that mother tongue should be the should be the medium of instruction in schools. According to a survey, I am not saying it anonymously. According to a survey by Oxford University, it reveals that children who have mother tongue as medium of instruction outperform the children who have a foreign language as the medium of instructions. So their ideas were reached with better comprehension and analysis than the English medium schools. So according to the Oxford University, it is crystal clear that the students who learn through their mother tongue, they grasp the knowledge more clearly with their they can analyze their knowledge. So I am not at the utmost opposition that English should be uprooted from the India. And that is not what I am saying. English should be in India as a secondary language, because it has a lot of opportunities. But the medium of education should be in mother tongue, which will help the students, which will help the children to grasp the knowledge and to enhance their skills. So what is the purpose of knowledge? The main purpose of education, the main purpose of knowledge is to provide the opportunity for acquiring knowledge and skills that will enable them to develop their full potential and become successful members of society. And this will be only possible when they are taught in their mother tongue. So fourthly, why I believe that mother tongue should be the medium of instruction in schools, because learning in a foreign language also bring a sense of alienation of their culture, own culture and heritage. Instruction in mother tongue will help the students in getting a better sense of their cultural background and help his progress in his life and with regarding his roots intact. So learning about our culture and other subjects in foreign language can lead to confusion and a lack of clarity of the knowledge and of that point. So, and fifthly, why I believe that education, the instruction, medium of instruction should be in mother tongue. Finally, I will say the biggest loophole in our education system is the rote learning, and this is because when most of our, if the subjects are in English medium, so students are persisting, they are just by hearting the content without comprehending what the contents want to say. They are not clear, the concept is not clear, the content is not clear in their perception. They are just reiterating to by hearting the content. So finally I will say that we made the best points that the mother tongue should be the medium of instruction in schools. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Respected judges and adjudicators and members of the both house, government and opposition. Welcome everybody to this, the health debate. Today we are debating on a motion is, this house believes that the mother tongue should be the medium of instruction in the schools. But as a member of opposition, we believe that the mother tongue should not be the medium of instruction in the schools. I'm very happy to listen the Prime Minister of the government, and I agree with his arguments and definition, but externally, I want to extend the more information which they have forget that. I think the Prime Minister of government forget to define the motion. They only told about what is the mother tongue, but they never make understand what is the instruction. We are debating on the medium of instruction, not the medium of learning and the teaching. So, Mr. President, Prime Minister, I want to clarify that what is the construction? The construction is the detailed information on how you should use the something and how to do something. That is the construction. So, we believe the mother tongue should not be the medium of instruction, because in a school, a lot of students are learning there from different districts, different states, and maybe in international school, different nations. So how we make the medium of instruction the mother tongue? In the Sibaq', the mega art fest, here the student of the different states, there in India, lot of students. In a single district, there are many. In a single district, there are a lot of students are talking and they speaking the different language. If we talk about the Urdu, in Urdu not only a single Urdu we speak. In Urdu there are a lot of different languages. But what is the mother tongue? So that is we never ever clarify what is the mother tongue. So many students of the different states and different districts, they cannot afford to learn and understand the mother of tongue. They are in India, they are the Bhojpuri, Maithili, and in India itself, in a single state, there are a lot of language. If we implement the mother tongue as a medium of construction, how they will understand all the instruction? If we are going to make the understand the student, you have to do this and you have to don't know this. How they will understand if they don't know the language of this school? If they implement the mother tongue Hindi or other Bhojpuri or Maithili in a school, in a single school, there are a lot of students. They are speaking the Hindi and the Andhra and the Malayalam and a lot of different language, and you are going to implement the mother tongue. But what is the mother tongue? If they ask, what is the mother tongue? So, as the leader of the opposition, my first argument is that if we implement the mother tongue as a medium of construction, it lessens the interest and the necessity to learn the leading global language. Today, we are in this debate, we are debating on the English. Where is our mother tongue? Here in this stage, here in this podium, there are a lot of students speaking the different languages. But what is our mother tongue? Where is the Bengali? Where is the Assamese? Where is the Hindi? Where is the Urdu? So that is the problem itself created in the schools. We cannot never ever implement the mother tongue as medium of instruction. Can you ever heard about any politician, any minister, any IAS is speaking in mother tongue? Anybody? If we are implementing the mother tongue as a medium of construction, how they will find the opportunity? And our Prime Minister of Government, he talking about the opportunities they will find more. But I believe they never ever find the opportunities if we implement the mother tongue as a medium of construction. Because if they are understanding and speaking the mother tongue as a medium of instruction, how they will boost the confidence? And as a member of the leader of the opposition, today, if we talk about the world situation and circumstance today in this world, the 75% of the world's population is speaking the English language. The national and the international institution, we will go. There are a lot of in a school. For example, in Kerala, there is a school or institution, and we are here come to learn in all the institutes, all the Islamic universities. For example, here is a student from different language. Please sit down. How we can make the medium of instruction for them? Because in a school there are a lot of students from different district, different state and different institutions. They cannot understand the mother of instruction. And we never ever cannot promote and enhance the multilingualism. If we are living in this era, the era of the multilingualism, how we can promote the multilingualism if they are implementing the mother tongue as a medium of instruction? So, if we are implementing the mother tongue as a medium of instruction, we cannot ever boost the student confidence and cannot help them achieve their goal and searching the modern languages. How we can? Because have you ever any doctor speaking the English, an engineer in the mother tongue? There are in India, there are a lot of doctors, engineers, IAS, minister of politicians and officers. They are speaking in the English. Where is their mother tongue? If we are, initially, we are implementing the mother tongue at the medium of construction in those schools, they cannot boost their confidence and they cannot find the opportunities in the upcoming future. That's why in India, everyone, politicians, ministers, officers, they are speaking the language of the English. And in every administration is the English and the such modern languages, we cannot ever reach the pinnacle if we are implementing the mother tongue as a medium of construction. And here the searching itself says that the language English is the medium of instruction. We are not talking about the medium of learning and teaching. We are talking about the medium of instruction in DARUL itself, in the Sibaq' itself. Everything in medium of instruction in English. We cannot about the Assamese Bengali mother tongue. So as the leader of the opposition, we believe that the mother tongue should not be the medium of instruction. So, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Leaders and readers, good afternoon to all the teachers and honorable juries, and my beloved peers from both government and opposition houses, and my beloved friends. Today in this auspicious occasion, I am feeling so glad and privileged to be here as the Deputy Prime Minister and to speak as the Deputy Prime Minister in this historic debate of Sibaq' 2022. So first of all, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Mr. President of this debate for giving me to speak as the Deputy Prime Minister of this historic debate of Sibaq' 2022. Today, the motion of this debate is that the House believes that the modern language should be the medium of instruction and should be the medium of teaching in schools. So, there are some reasons, practical reasons and factors why we are arguing and we are emphasizing on the fact that the medium of teaching and instructing in school should be the mother language. So before moving ahead to my arguments, I would like to refute what the leader of opposition just mentioned. First of all, the leader of opposition said that, please be seated. The leader of opposition said that the Prime Minister, our Prime Minister did not mention or to clarify the topic properly. But I want to say that the motion of this debate is about the presence of the mother language in this motion and its absence. So just defining that point, that mood factor, it is enough to describe and define that topic. And you are not, I'm sorry to say that, you are not that much immature, so that I will be, and our house will be defining the holistic topic for you. Please go ahead.
You're talking about to implement only the medium of instruction in schools, only mother tongue. Then why India don't have a mother tongue right now?
I think you're not familiar about the topic also. I want to say that the topic is about the implementation of the mother language in the schools, not in the universities, not in the universities like the Jamia Delhi University, not in the universities like Jawaharlal Nehru University. It's about the implementation of mother language of instruction in schools, the primary schools. And moreover, the leader of opposition said that the mother language should not be the language of instruction in schools. And he mentioned that he also considered the matter of Sibaq' and DARUL Islamic University. I want to say that there is no point to mention Sibaq' in this point, in this house, and in this point of time, because we are talking about the implementation of the mother language, the instruction in mother language in school levels, the primary schools. So let me proceed to my arguments. So moving forward to my first main argument, I would like to say that
Point of information, please.
please be seated. The first and foremost, it should be noted that a child understands the mother language better than the unindigenous language and the foreign language. Therefore, if a student is taught or being instructed in his mother language, so it will be easy for him or her to understand what the teacher is describing, what the teacher is defining to him or her. And moreover, if the student is not being taught or instructed in his own mother tongue, there are two possibilities and two blockades and two obstacles for a child to learn furthermore. The first one is it will slow down the rate of learning. It will slow down the speed of learning of a child if you are teaching him in another language, in a foreign language. Please be seated. And the second one is, it will be a burden or pressure for a student if you are teaching that student in another language. For example, if if you're teaching a student in another language, in a foreign language, the first most pressure it will be the understanding of that language, and the second one is to comprehend that chapter. So there will be two pressure, there will be double pressure for a student to understand only one chapter. And secondly, the education causes the comprehensive development of a child, which can only be possible with the help of mother language, because the language in which he speaks, in which the language of his mother language is connected with his emotions also. So if you are teaching him, the student, a child, in his own mother language, it will be easy to him to capture what you are saying. It will be easy to him to understand, to comprehend what you are teaching him. And thirdly, educating the children in a mother language will also build a connection of parents with the education of their children. Yes, please.
You are talking that if something is taught, then that will be on the mother tongue. but you didn't define that medium of instruction does mean learning. Learning is something different, and medium of instruction is something different. Instruction does mean how to do something, how to run administration, how to do that thing, how to do this thing. Okay, so please.
So, the students not only instructed in schools, but they are also taught in schools. So, it will be very, very moot point to define the teaching furthermore better than, rather than defining the instruction. And moving ahead to my fourth argument, I would like to say that if the parents are connected with the education of the child, then it will be easy for the child to comprehend what he doesn't understand from the teacher. For example, if you are teaching a student or a child in his own mother language, but there may be some obstacle despite that. So if it is taught by the mother language, so the parents will be able to teach him, to make him understand the chapters what he didn't understand in his classes. And moving ahead to my fifth argument, I would like to say that the learning in foreign language brings the sense of alienation. For example, if we are teaching a student, a little student, a child in English, and his mother language is Bengali, how he can understand that? There is no point in teaching English. And furthermore, moving ahead swiftly to my sixth argument, I would like to say that it boosts the self-confidence of a student. So these are the factors and reasons and practical reasons which are recommended by India today and the UNICEF and UNESCO. And these are the reasons. We're not just talking the peripheral talks. These are the authentic and proven talks from authentic sources also. Thank you very much.
Honorable jurists, respected leaders of government team and opposition team, today in this heated moment, I, member of opposition team, on behalf of my team, stood here to put forward our arguments opposing the motion of this house that this house believes that the mother tongue should be the medium of instruction in English. So before I put my arguments, I want to take heed to the arguments put by our members of government. I humbly respect your arguments that you have put here, but I cannot agree with the arguments you have put here. Because in a free world and a free nation you are living, so you can express your arguments, but that should be logical and reasonable. So as your member of government had decided that, had put that, and citing from Constitution of India, he had said that the mother tongue should be implemented because the national education policy, please be seated, because national education policy is also a controversial and it is only recommended by the government team and no opposition party accepting it. So how you can cite from national education policy? And also you have cited that Constitution of India recommends for a mother tongue. But also the Constitution of India, I will cite that 8th schedule of Indian Constitution says that there are 22 official languages that have Indian acknowledgement. So which language you will choose as the mother tongue? And finally, please be seated. And finally, again, leave the Constitution aside. Only in India, more than 700 languages are spoken in different parts of different India. Which language will be your mother tongue, yeah? And now let me come to my points. Here, the second speaker of the government team, he was actually engaged in primary school. The motion of house, I make you remember again that the motion of house is that this house believes that mother tongue should be the medium of instruction in schools, not only in primary schools, where are universities, colleges, higher schools. And as you were saying, as in the third argument, the second speaker of government house, the deputy government said that if mother tongue is not implemented, then there will be lack of understanding. I may give you an instance from Uttar Pradesh. Please be seated. Let me give you an instance from Uttar Pradesh. In this year, this year, Times of India report says 28.75 lakh students applied for plus 10 examinations.
Point of information.
Plus 10 examination. Among
Point
them
of information.
18 please be seated. Let me complete my points. Among them, 18.3% students were failed in their mother tongue, that is Hindi. What's the problem? If mother tongue is most comfortable way to get understanding, then why 18.3% students are getting failed? And also in that report, the Times of India says that, and the most of the students have included included English in Hindi scripts. So English is most comfortable than Hindi. I am not talking about the English should be implemented. We are coming to my points. And after now I will proceed with my arguments. So to consolidate our argument that this house should not implement a mother tongue as a medium of instruction in schools. Our first argument is that today we are in an evolving world, and the world is a globalized, so a language should not be barrier. If you implement mother tongue in any school, it is actually a boundary based barrier. So we should cross the barrier and come to a global step, and there should be a global language. And also by implementing mother tongue, we are restricting and we are making barriers among students, because by implementing a global language, there is many socio-economical advancement and opportunities. And if you implement only mother tongue language, you cannot draw international students in your schools. You cannot draw other students of other language in your schools. So you are restricting the barriers between schools and our
point of information.
You may proceed.
You said that we are creating a barrier, an obstacle for the students if we are teaching in mother language. So are you ready to teach your child in America just to teach him in English?
Because in America, English is not a barrier, and in India,
are you going to send him just for school education, not the university education?
Okay, in India, as a multicultural language, as I have stated earlier, more than 700 languages are there. So it's not possible actually to implement in this, and not take the example of America, where only Latin English is the predominant language of that country. And by implementing a global language and not restricting in mother language, there is also we can cross and we can get away from the problems that many students are facing because of economic and intellectual problems. Because by implementing a mother language, we are losing many things. For meager gains and little benefits, we cannot implement mother language, because it is not, because in mother language there is a scarcity of resources and lack of resources. As a St. Paul University of Philippines states that by implementing a mother language, there is the different issues, and most important issue is the lack of resources. By implementing mother language, there will be lack of resources, because and this lack will be not only in resource but in speaking, writing, reading, and expressing. For example, I want to say you that in a Bengali, students learn about French Revolution, he says Renaissance, but when he hear the French Revolution, he cannot understand, because Renaissance is different and revolution is different in hearing and spelling, writing, everything, but in meanings they are same. So they cannot understand because of the different pronunciations. And so with these arguments, we firmly and sternly believes that this house should not implement mother tongue as a medium of instruction in school, focusing on these points, because by implementing, I will repeat again, by implementing mother tongues, there will be a big losses for a little gains, and for a global language, there are different benefits. Like in this globalized world, there will be global attention, and students can enter into global points. And secondly, it is not possible in India, like a multicultural society, to implement one single language. And by implementing mother tongue, there will be lack of resources that should not be, students should not be haunted by this negative effect. And to get global reach, we need global attention. And by this, I conclude and again urge the jurists and the member of governments to heed our arguments. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Audience, please silence.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. Dear beloved judges and both beloved opposition and the government, thank you for the organizer for having and conducting such a debate that is refreshing and unique in its content. The motion of this debate is the implementation that this house believes that mother tongue should be the medium of teaching instruction. As a member of government, I strongly believe and I firmly believe that this motion should be implemented and this should be implicated. Therefore, before I go in and move to my first and important arguments, I would like to have some fun with the opposition leaders. At first, the opposition leaders or opposition first speaker of the opposition has mentioned here his entire the seven minutes of speaking was about the importance of languages. We are not talking about the importance of languages. We are talking about the implementation and implications of language. Yes, we can teach English. We can teach the different languages in schools. But it doesn't mean, I will take you in a minute. Please sit. So, this doesn't mean that we can teach English. We can teach English, but it doesn't mean that the medium of instruction should be in English. To teach English, to be a speaker, to be an English speaker, it should need to learn and to use the method of instructing in English or in other languages. We can teach in our mother tongue. It will be the more facilitated and it will be more easier to understand and comprehend the student. So it was the first. And secondly, the second speaker has mentioned...
Point of information.
Okay, I will take you in a minute, please. And the second speaker has also mentioned that he said that it is a barrier of the students. Limiting students in a language, the mother tongue is a barrier of the students. But I think it is not. I have tremendous respect for you, but I quite disagree with your arguments that it is not a barrier for the students. It is a big opportunity for them. Yes, please.
You're talking about implementing a single mother tongue in a nation or in an area. Now how you are going to implement this language or mother tongue in a multicultural society, in a multilingual background society?
So, okay, thank you. So our India is a multicultural society. Yes, I believe. I do agree with you. I agree, but it is not a factual point. In a multi-dimensional country, there is no need to implement different kind of languages. We can use the medium as India. As an example, in India is a Hindi heartland. So in Hindi heartland, we can use the Hindi as our medium of the languages. And
point of information.
No, please be seated. And let's come to my first and most important arguments. And my first argument is that now our entire education system of India and across the globe, we can see that all the education system is all about the rote learning and also the rat race. In different schools, the method of teaching instructions are in different languages, and that's why the students are facing the problems. Because please be seated. Because they're facing many problems because they are not understanding the subject. So actually, a student who scores 9 out of 100 actually remains a rat. He actually didn't get and understand the subject. And also, please be seated. But what about those Scandinavian countries like the Finland, Switzerland, China, Japan, Germany, Philippines, Mali? These all countries are reversed its education system and implemented their mother tongue as the medium of instruction. So why these countries are developed? Because they are running their schools and their schools and universities on the basis of the mother tongue instructions. So it will be very important to apply the mother tongue in the medium of instruction. And the second important argument of mine is, if we apply the mother tongue instruction, then it will decrease the dropping out issues. There is many research, but recently the new educational policy 2020, it's also promoted and it also emphasized over the mother tongue language. And also our article 350 article, it says that state should endeavor to promote mother tongue language as the medium of instructions. And also the ACR annual status of educational report, and also UNESCO, all these big organizations has mentioned, and this all organization has emphasized over the importance of mother languages and mother tongue. Then how you can say that we can, okay, please be seated. Then how you can say that we can't use, and we can use the mother tongue as our instructional method. And my third, so it will decrease our dropping issues. There's a lot of students are there's a lot of students are quitting their schools because of they're not getting understanding the subject entirely. Now the entire education system are all about the memorizing the content rather than the other understanding, and rather than the understanding and developing their skill, intuitions and cognitive and cognitive method. But it emphasizes to remember to memorize the content. Please be seated. To memorize the content, but how a student can develop. So my question to the opposition leaders, that if students are applied and if students are emphasized to get the teachings and get the subjects in the other languages, and if you don't know their languages, then how they can understand their languages, then how they can understand the subject? It's impossible. And also, please be seated. And also here I have the third main important argument is that this system, that mother tongue language will enhance the cognitive development of students. Okay, if we use this method of providing knowledge and providing knowledge in their mother tongue, this student can easily understand the questions. Okay, I have told you that I will take you in a minute. So you have a question? Okay, thank you. Then okay, there is a several research. So my argument is clear that this house believes that this house believes that mother tongue should be the medium of instructions because of various reasons. And the first one was that it decreased the dropping out issues, and it also because and we should avoid the medium of different languages because it emphasized the rote learning and rat race system. And also the third important argument was it enhanced the cognitive development of students. So therefore I urge and I request the judges, and I also request the opposition leader to go with our favor. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Bismillah walhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Ma ba'd, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable juries, dear spectators, esteemed government and my dear opposition. First of all, excuse my sour throat that I have got, but there was actually a guitar game of fun game in the disguise of fun game was going on, as the third speaker from the government said he just wanted to play a fun game with us. But the fun that I found was in his speech, in which he was only talking about importance of mother tongue. I don't deny that talking about importance of mother tongue is a sin. But let me make the arguments that they presented a bit clearer, because they have, just by scrolling in the internet, they have just cherry-picked self-selectively some phrases from some websites and came forward with absolutely no data, without an example, like those countries who implemented mother tongue in their countries. And they have not only forgot that, they also forgot to cite the examples and the disadvantages, the problems those countries faced. So let me start from refuting the first, the Prime Minister of the government. He said, if we are not taught in mother tongue, we won't be able to express ourselves, we won't be able to ask questions. He said, his sentence was, students would be able to express themselves, ask their questions. And he also said, there was, in implementing another language other than the mother language, the mother tongue, there will be a violation of culture. Here, let me extend the argument into certain aspect. Humanity, we as human, we have to take a big care of psychology, what human being is thinking about themselves. Here, let me tell you, in the modern time, embracing other cultures is also a culture. It is not a violation of your own culture. It is you're embracing another culture. It is not a violation of culture. And the second speaker spoke of something which is very absurd. And I would call it absurd because when the second speaker was, when our speaker was speaking something, and the second speaker from the government, he just stood up. He hadn't even completed his questions, and there was a round of applause from the audience. I just do not understand. This is somewhat bandwagon fallacy. No, thank you. Bandwagon fallacy in which we are trying to turn the truth into false just by clapping and smacking down the desk. And here, you just implemented the examples, right? In your example, you've answered our speakers, in which, let me tell you something you said. In DHIU, in which students from multicultural learning, what should be the language? It should be mother tongue. You said, when we are speaking in a mother tongue, people will understand more things. It is actually a threat to foreign learnings and distant learnings, because if you are going to explain anything, here we have the students from 20 states in a class. If you are going to explain every single thing in their own mother tongue, it will be 20 mother tongues. You won't have even time to complete your classes. And next, a third speaker said, no need to implement different languages. It was his sentence. I'm not making it up. His sentence was, there is no need to implement different languages. This is absurd. This is ridiculous. There is no logic to their point, to their claim, to the argument. And here comes my first argument, is the trend of English medium is increasing globally, and parents are enrolling more in private schools because they think, people's psychology, they think their students, their kids will have better future, and the prestige associated with English language serves them a good. And here, let me tell you, because you say, while you're presenting your arguments, I think you forgot what is actually happening in the country. You didn't give even the examples of the countries like Philippines, Spain, China, and Germany, which implemented mother tongue as the medium of instruction in schools. They have a lot of problems, and one of them was, which is to be noted by the judges and the spectators as well, the limited reading materials. This is not, I'm not making up things up on a stage, because this was a research done by Rosario Alberto of Teresa International School, in which he said teaching or instructing, they got only the meaning of instruction. Teaching, they got the meaning. So I am speaking in their language, in which teaching in a mother tongue is like limited reading materials, lack of instrumental materials, and the scarcity of material available, and in which, in the scarcity of materials available, we are not able to explore more genres of literature and other fields of education. And here is my point. I'd like to give you some practical life examples as well. Like in 2014, famous film director Christopher Nolan, he brought out a film, Interstellar, in which he prevented that this movie should not be translated because of technical words, in which there are things that has to be learned in the technical words, and in Interstellar, in which Christopher Nolan denied that this masterpiece should not be translated in languages. And here, as I have said, I have the data. Economic Times of India says that 9% of public school or private school in 1993 has increased into 35% in 2022. And literacy rate, I'm talking about fact and what's happening in our country. I'm here to deny the arguments. Like they're saying that implementing a single global language, we are exploiting, we're strangling people's success. And that's not the case, because literacy rate has actually skyrocketed from 62% in 2006 to 74% in 2008 and 77% in 2022. Here, Actually, I already excused my sore throat, and there is a problem. Here I conclude, and I ask you to vote for the I ask you to vote against the motion because it is ridiculous. They have got some sweeping, absurd arguments with them. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi.
Good evening, everyone. I welcome all of you to this astonishing house today. Especially welcome beloved judges and opposition team. Thank you, Mr. President, and it is an honor to be here as government whip. By being constantly with highly idealized views of my peer on the motion, it has been proved that the mother tongue should be media of instruction in school. And as per what this house stands in this debate, the every members from government house had put forward a lot of practical and logical arguments on the base, and this is the time to summarize where I stand in this debate. Dear respected speakers from opposition team, sorry to say that, but our argument is so most logical and practical and convincing, and our arguments are enough to nullify all the arguments you have made here. Let me recap in a nutshell. Our first speaker from government house had put forward most important arguments on the base, that was about the mother tongue decreases dropout rates. So obviously, if any Bengali students are studying in a Marathi school, you will never be able to understand. You will never be understand the topic, the lessons, the motions, anything you couldn't understood. Therefore, you will drop. Therefore, there will be increase the dropout rates in the school. And therefore, mother tongue will improve in less dropout of schools, less dropout in any kinds of school. And therefore, our second argument shows about the mother tongue enhances cognitive development. Obviously, just you also appreciate about this, but which language you will like to teach your infant, teach your newborn babies? Obviously, we'll want to learn them in your own language, in your mother language. You'll never want to learn them in English and in atom and in Chinese and French language. So obviously, this is obvious arguments of that. And our third arguments about this, that the mother tongue helps in student learning faster. Obviously, and there is the most of these schools and the experts and the research that are expressing about the understanding power, about the comprehensive power of the students that express the more and faster by only mother tongue. That's not in English. And therefore, our fourth arguments about the mother tongue increases mother tongue increases the country's development, and it makes more intellectual and wisdom for every student in an institution. And therefore, our fifth argument was about the mother tongue are helping more connection, for being more connection with the guardians, with the cultures, with the neighbors, and multiple people, and they will be so more passionate between them. If they are interacting with multiple languages without mother tongue, they will not be able to express their full passionate over there. And therefore, our seventh arguments about the mother tongue brings the sense of belonging in foreign languages. And therefore, our eighth arguments was about the mother tongue boost up the confidence of the students. And let me refute the reverse the arguments has put forward from the opposition teams. Just I have a suspicious that the opposition team didn't understood the topic appropriately. Obviously, just they have been talking about the importance of language, and they are talking about the one single global language, and they have not familiar with the topic exactly. And they're taking the example only the DHIU and the universities, where the topic there is only the schools, not in DHIU and institutions, and they're about the children, not the grown-ups. And therefore, the first was that they have said about the national education policy, from the first speaker from opposition team. Obviously, national education policy provides rule for mother tongue for every student till 5 year, because they will more attention or more able to learn the topic, to learn the subject more appropriately. And therefore, the second argument was so baffling and absurd. That was about, they have been talking about the importance of languages. That's like 22 languages about India and 700 languages about the world. And just like waffling, they have been in this house. And therefore, they are including English in. And just from the second speaker from opposition house has put forward illogical arguments about the motion, that in Hindi videos, in Bengali videos, they are adding the captions with English language. And I am saying you that this is not a disadvantage. This is an advantage, because they are not dubbing the videos in another language. Just they are giving a script under it. Okay, they're just not dubbing the language in other languages. And therefore, that the arguments are put forward from and questions from the whip has also asked about the one single language, but you have to be familiar more with the topic. Actually, that's why we're not talking about the one single global language. We're talking about the mother tongue. Okay, and we have proved our arguments as much as possible, and our arguments are more appropriate and more convincing and on the based, and on which arguments has put forward from the opposition team are illogical and absurd, and which is not on the based. And therefore, I humbly request the honorable judge and opposition house to appreciate with our arguments. And I beg again with my beloved judges to stand with our motion. Thank you very much.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, everybody. Dear genuflected juries and beloved member of proposition, opposition. Today, a lot of valuable points are being shared in this evening in this podium here. But today, let me repeat what is the motion today. The motion that has been thrown before us by the juries and the presidential committee is the mother tongue should be the medium of instruction in schools. But actually we have gathered here, and my team of opposition has gathered here and just collected and garnered a lot of points and arguments on the basis of extensions of society, academic level, economic level, psychological level, and everything. And we firmly, staunchly, and strongly believe that the mother tongue should not be the medium of instruction in schools. First and foremost, let me explain very well and ask some question to you, which will definitely explicit and explain everything that has been in your mind. If there are some technologies like technological terminologies, CCTV, okay, drone, computer, mic, microphone, box, how they will be able to make those small kids which about they are talking, they will teach and they'll take as the instructions of medium of instruction in the primary school, how they will be able to teach these technological terminologies to their small kids. It's totally ridiculous. We are not able to teach them these technological words. So somehow we should have to depend on a language which is accepted by all of the people of the nation, which is totally multicultural and multilingual background. So we have presented 4 arguments which are very strong and very staunch and very satisfactory for the juries and for the proposition also. And we hope that our proposition and government will cope with us with these strong arguments. Our first argument was it lessens the interest and necessity to learn a new global language. To learn, we have talked about to learn a new global language. We didn't talk about to implement a global language, but they are going wrong. They are repeating repeatedly and repeatedly that they have told and argued in this motion and in this debate that they want to implement a global language instead of mother tongue. This is not. No one of our member has ever said that. So that's why. And yeah. And they, the whip member of government already, before some moments, has talked very confidently that we cannot express our expressions without mother tongue. Is that makes a sense? How that is possible? There are a lot of institutions, a lot of interviews, a lot of speeches. There even in Sibaq', we can take the example of Sibaq'. We are not saying that Sibaq' is only one example. In Sibaq', there are several languages: the language of Arabic, the language of English, the language of Malayali, and other languages. And in each and every languages, the students are taking part, and they are speaking in other languages rather than their mother tongue, and they are expressing with their facial expression, with their body language, with their eye expressions. Everything is expressed very well. Then how did this will make sense that we can't express everything completely without only mother tongue? And if they were talking about primary schools, small kids, and if they grown up and graduated from a college, and they have gone to an interview, and they have gone to express their expression, then how they would able to express in other languages which is not mother tongue? Mother tongue is just a limited languages for a limited area and limited people, but a language that is accepted by the people of most of the people of that region, that is the main and mainstream language. We should have to agree with that. Our second argument was globalization. Globalization. This is the era of globalization. We cannot depend on one single mother tongue. So that's why we have already explained everything. And our third argument was it's not possible in multicultural society. Okay, they are talking about that Constitution of India says that every citizen should be given the right to learn the mother tongue. We are not disagreeing with that. We agree with that every citizen should be given the right to learn mother tongue. We are not against learning mother tongue, but we are against implementing mother tongue as a medium of instruction in the schools. If it is the medium of instruction in a school, that will cause a lot of problem. That will lack the chances of a student. That will lack a chance of a student to get appointed in higher posts. That will lack the chance of a student to get appointed in the greater jobs like Goldman Sachs and other international companies. How that will work? And that's why the downtrodden society of our nation or of the globe have been downtrodden and have been backward, and the richest and the developed society of our nation have been developed. That's the reason. So only dependence on single mother tongue is not going to work. Our fourth argument was the scarcity of material availability. Yeah, if we talk about only single mother tongue in the schools, even because they are talking about schools and primary school, that's why we are taking the example of schools and primary school. So if we take the example, or if we just implement the mother tongue, then will they be able to bring books of technological terms, bring the books of other languages in the mother tongue? Never ever. So that's why they're also talking about building partnership. So building partnership is not limited, but mother tongue is limited. So that's why within mother tongue, building partnership is not possible. They have talking about purpose of language, and purpose of mother tongue is to educate. But with only mother tongue, we cannot be able to educate a wide nation and a wide people, a large amount of people. But only by mother tongue, we can be able to educate only limited people of that area which mother tongue is going on. But if we take in a language which has a lot of acceptability, then we will be able to educate most of the people and most of the even small kids of that institution. Okay, and if they were talking about schools, that schools. But what about those schools which are available in colleges also? In colleges and universities, there will be schools of engineering, a school of medical science, a school of political science, and everything. So that's why, on the basis of these arguments, we have presented very well, and on the basis of the ridiculous and very aggressive arguments that have no logic they have presented, we urge the juries of this debate that please support us to stop these illogical arguments from the proposition, and please support us to humbly approach with education to the downtrodden and backward community of our nation. That is, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala.